Yeah, Krishna, I was thinking about it, Bhushan, who wrote the Vedanta commentary to the Vedanta Sutra in our line, in our Sampradaya. He wrote that I believe he lived in the 1700s, and at that time there was a debate with some other Vaishnavas, and it was over the right to worship. I believe it was the Govinda deity, the deity of Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami's deity of Govinda, or Radha Govinda, had been moved from Vrindavan due to fear of the Mohammedans, and was at that time in Jaipur, in Rajasthan, which never was conquered by Mohammedans, as far as I know. And there many of the deities from Vrindavan, they took shelter. They were brought there and being worshipped there. And I don't know exactly if I think that our Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas because we are followers of Lord Chaitanya, means we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas. We're worshipping Govinda Ji, but some other Vaishnava group were challenging, you're not qualified, you're not a bona fide Sampradaya, you do not have a commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, and which in one sense is a fact, and Gaudiya Vaishnavas didn't consider necessary because we have the Srimad Bhagavatam, and that is Srila Vyasadev's own commentary on Vedanta Sutra, so there's no need of any further commentary. But there's still, that was a challenge. So it came to the point actually where it came to be that unless you have a commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, you will not be allowed to worship Govinda. And there was a debate with some Gaudiya Vaishnavas and this other group of Vaishnavas. And Baladev Vibhushana, he was representing the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And so actually when it came to that point, said actually, so where is your commentary? And said, and then Baladev Vibhushana, we have a commentary. And they asked, can we see it? Well, and they said, give me a second, I have to write it first. Just have to write it first, can you know? So, yes, how long time did we get? Someone remembers?
I think not such a long time.
Something is 3 weeks, but I don't think I've not that much. Was it?
I don't remember exactly.
But, quite brief time. And I said, I'll come back after such a time, I'll bring you the commentary. And then Baladev Vibhushana, he went to Govinda Ji, and he fell in front of him and prayed. And then Govinda said, don't worry, I'll dictate it. And then Govinda, he had dictated the whole, what became the Govinda Bhasha. Bhasha means commentary. All the different commentaries are called bhashyas. The different sampradayas have the different bhashyas. And it became known as Govinda Bhasha because Govinda was the one who spoke it. And so Baladev Vibhushana, he was there writing and being dictated by Govinda Ji. And then afterwards, then he went and he presented that. And it was amazing. That is the most amazing of all the Vedanta Sutra commentaries, and he just had written that. So that, that's just one example of, it's not possible, you cannot sit down and write a Vedanta Sutra commentary in a couple of days. It's something like a, post-PhD work, something it will take years to compile, and because it has to be, all the different sutras of the Vedanta Sutra have to be explained properly with references and logic and so on. It's enormous work. But he just wrote it like that. So it's not. So how was that possible? It was not his karma, although Baladev Vibhushana was a great scholar, but still that was not karma. That was simply Govinda did. Okay, let it happen. So that's when the devotee, he actually surrenders to Krishna's desire. Krishna will just work through him. And then one can do the most amazing things. Nothing is impossible, Prabhupada says here in Everything is possible for him. Nothing is impossible. Impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary, Prabhupada said. Prabhupada said, I want the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita published in 2 months. And Ramaswamy said, that's impossible. You know the story? This is, Prabhupada, it was in, I believe it was in 74, 75. It was in Los Angeles, and Prabhupada was there, and Prabhupada was writing books, and he was writing very fast, dictating books. Prabhupada was dictating all these books. So, and then he was, and the BBT could not publish as fast. So actually at that time, there was something like 17 volumes of the Chaitanya Charitamrita had not been published, and a couple of the volumes of the Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada was getting annoyed, because he didn't feel, he's writing, but they're not being published, then, he didn't feel encouraged, he's losing, of course one will never lose inspiration to write, but, it has to be published. So then he met one morning on a morning walk with Ramaswamy and I think Radha Vallabha, and they were devotees who were in charge of the BBT. And they came actually to Prabhupada, because they knew Prabhupada, he was pushing, we had to publish faster. So they had come up with a plan where they could speed up. I think was it something like one book would take 2 months. They had made a whole production plan. They could produce in 1 book a month, and they actually thought this is probably will be very satisfied. Now we produce 1 book every month. So then Prabhupada, he heard how the plan, the production plan, and then he just then he said, I want all these books in 2 months. They were Ramaswamy wasn't really even sure he had heard correctly. Maybe Prabhupada even made a mistake or something like that. But then put it out, they did it, I think then again we will explain about how the production scheme and they can produce a book a month, and then probably repeated, I want these books in 2 months, everything. And then Ramaswamy said, but that's impossible. And then Prabhupada, they were walking, Prabhupada was with his cane, Prabhupada just stopped and then he poked his cane into the sand and he said, impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. And then he just continued walking. And the devotee was shocked. But actually then, then they went back, they got the order from the spiritual master. They have to do it. He says it's possible. Can we doubt it's not possible? So then they actually sat down, they looked at it, and they came up with a big production scheme, and said, of course, involved more devotees, and they spoke with Prabhupada and asked Prabhupada, yes, we can't do it, but you have to be here all the time. We have to be able to consult with you. And there were different, but actually, then they had a marathon for 2 months. Day and night there were people working, devotees, on editing and typesetting and painting and everything. And actually they did it. And even, I think, even little less time. And even they finished the 17 volumes and also 1 or 2 of the Bhagavatams. Turned out it was possible. And that's, it was unheard of. It was completely unheard of. Of course, first of all, for these devotees, they were not trained publishers. They had experience simply by publishing Prabhupada's books. But they were just like us, actually. They were just boys coming in, Prabhupada's disciples at that time, they were like, you would now say us, I'm too ancient now already, but they were in the 20s. They were just young men in their 20s without that much experience. The Prabhupada had them do everything, and they could do it. And even they no one in the professional publishing world had ever published like that. It was completely unheard of. The paper supplier had never got such an order for so much paper, so much printing. I'm not sure they could. That turned out to be one of the obstacles. Maybe they couldn't. The paper suppliers couldn't supply paper, but somehow they also got the paper, to print all these books, and to print them so fast and like that. It was. I mean, it was a world record.
They worked all night.
Huh?
Shift.
Yeah, it was day and night. I was working day and night like that. So that's been our we should understand when we get instruction and then we just do it, and Krishna will give us intelligence. That's if you see this film, you have a well-wisher. You have a well-wisher. There's one professor who tells about how he's meeting with the first devotees of Prabhupada like that, and then he talks about how one Prabhupada was able to give that faith. You just depend on Krishna. Just go and do it. Serve Krishna and depend on Krishna, and you can do it. And he gives the example. One devotee was told Prabhupada, make a magazine back to Godhead, and that devotee had never made a magazine. He said, he read magazines, but that was the only thing he knew about magazines. Is something you read, but how you make a magazine. And then the Prabhupada said, no, Krishna will give you the intelligence. And he did. He made a very, very wonderful magazine. And so that's actually how it works. You understand, Krishna is here. If we surrender to his service, we give ourselves to his service, Krishna, he will work through us. He will give us intelligence and ability to actually accomplish that service. This is really what this Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna verse is about. Yes, Krishna is, when with his devotee, his reciprocation with the devotee is the devotee ability to do his service. The devotee wants to serve Krishna. Krishna wants to please the devotee by giving him the ability to perform that service. And then everything is possible. And we see that in actually we can do things we would never be able to do if it just were according to our karma. This is actually how this Krishna consciousness movement is spreading by the internal energy. This is internal energy. External energy is under karma. Internal energy is Krishna's direct action, and everything is possible under the influence of the internal energy. Therefore we chant Hare Krishna. We pray to Krishna. Hare is Krishna's internal energy. We pray to become under the protection of the internal potency, not the external potency. Hare Krishna. Are we allowed a question? For a minute and a half. Yes.
Yeah, it's just like here just said that wherever there is Krishna, there is extraordinary power, and so I think that in Krishna consciousness, I can see materially speaking, or the desires from within, the material desires, they gradually go away by the process of Krishna consciousness, but it seems like the challenges they become greater and greater.
Probably, but that's also, then if they did not, then it would be boring. As one becomes more and more purified and advanced, then also one's ability to one can do more service, and then of course also the challenges will become bigger. And external challenges will become much bigger. Maybe internal challenges, one will face internal challenges that would not be, one wouldn't be exposed to before. So what to do then? Well, we just have to pray to Krishna. That puts us in desperate situations. And what do we do in desperate situations? We just depend more on Krishna. The devotee will actually, when in a desperate situation, he will cry out, Krishna, help, help, and then he will endeavor. You endeavor, and you'll be desperate, but you will endeavor, and then with faith, yes, Krishna will make it. If I simply stick to Krishna's service, and I'm, conscious of him, and even more conscious of him, Krishna will cause the impossible to happen. It's problems and challenges are not, they're just ways to increase our surrender to Krishna more. That's all. They're not real in that sense. Should be seen as blessings, actually. Should actually be seen as blessings. Okay. I have to stop here. Thank you very much for your patience and attention. See you for